Top 10 awkward celebrity interviews that ended badly. Number 10, Tom Cruise. While Tom Cruise is often labeled a nice guy to interview and always has time to chat with fans, he was not able to keep his cool in a 2005 interview with 60 Minutes. Speaking to Australian journalist Peter Overton, the Hollywood actor angrily told the presenter to put your manners back in after he was asked about ex-wife Nicole Kidman. In the interview, which took place 4 years after the couple's divorce, Tom was asked, "Is Nicole the love of your life?" The Golden Globe winner, who looked flustered, responded, "What do you mean, Peter? How do you answer that question?" Then when asked what sort of relationship the former couple still had, Tom lost his cool, telling the Nine reporter, "You're stepping over the line now. You're stepping over the line and you know you are." He then stared coolly at Peter until the journalist explained, "I suppose there are questions that people want to know." However, Tom cut him off saying, Peter, you want to know? Take responsibility for what you want to know." Yikes. "So I'm just telling you right now, okay, just put your manners back in." The clip ended with a quick apology from Peter. One thing, don't bring up ex-wives to Tom Cruise. I mean, he'll put you in your place. Rightfully so. Number 9, Grace Jones. While Grace Jones is known for her unpredictable interview style, no one could have foreseen her attacking a talk show host in 1981. The model was left infuriated when Russell Hardy continually turned his back on her while speaking to other guests, resulting in Grace reaching out and slapping him continuously. Writing about the incident in her autobiography, she blamed the outburst on a combination of bad coke hallucinations and being covered in pigeon poop. She penned, "Bad substances was the last thing I wanted before I went on a live television show. The purest form, maybe, but anything else was not going into my body. I was meant to sit next to Russell Hardy and keep still and quiet. I was all dressed up like an Amazonian seductress and treated like the hired help. I thought this is no way to treat a guest. This wasn't at all like what we'd rehearsed. Being stuck there while he ignored me made me feel very uncomfortable. I felt I was provoked, I was feeling exhausted, had no idea where I was, and was coated in pigeon shit. Now it seemed I was hallucinating that I was on a live chat show and the host was ignoring me. Pissed off, I poked him in the back." She added, "I wasn't attacking him because I was drunk or stoned. I was lashing out because I felt he was not being proper. You can see if you watch it, I'm being sensitive rather than unruly." And number 8, Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. stormed out of an interview with Channel 4's Krishnan Gurumurthy after he was asked about his childhood and past substance use. The Marvel star was promoting his movie Avengers: Age of Ultron in 2015 when he got offended by the line of questioning and refused to answer anything else. He had been on good form when the exchange started, but he could be seen getting visibly uncomfortable when Krishnan began asking about his long-conquered personal demons. Specifically, Krishnan was asked to explain a comment in a 2010 interview with the New York Times in which he said, "You can't go from a 2,000 a night suite at La Mirage to a penitentiary and really understand it and come out illiberal." Responding, Robert said, "I could pick that apart for 2 hours and be no closer to the truth than giving you some half-arsed answer right now. I couldn't even tell you what a liberal is." But when asked about his relationship with his father, Robert got up and declared, "I'm sorry, I really don't, what are we doing?" before walking out of the interview. Seemingly amused with the reaction, Krishnan smiled and quipped to the camera, "It's all getting a bit Diane Sawyer." Shady. Robert was still furious about the exchange days later, branding the British journalist a bottom-feeding muckrack. In an interview on Howard Stern's radio show, saying that he wished he had walked out of it sooner. He told Howard, "I'm one of those guys who I'm always assuming the social decorum is in a play, and that we're promoting a superhero movie. A lot of kids are gonna see it, and that just has nothing to do with your creepy dark agenda that I'm feeling like all of a sudden ashamed and obligated to accommodate your weirdo shit." He went on to recount how he felt during the interview, saying, "You know what? You're weirding me out. You are a bottom-feeding muckraker." I don't know. Like, comment below if you know what that means, please. "My heart was beating in my chest because this was the first interview of the day. What do you think? Are you in Kumbaya land?" LOL. Krishnan refused to back down, however, telling The Guardian, "We don't do promotional interviews on Channel 4 News." Number 7, Taylor Swift. Taylor made her feelings very clear at the 2015 Grammys when talk turned from the awards show to her love life. The singer had been labeled a serial dater due to her high-profile romances with the likes of Harry Styles and Jake Gyllenhaal. Pressing into this line of questioning, Entertainment Tonight host Nancy O'Dell made a joke about the singer's love life when she grabbed her for a red carpet chat. "You're gonna walk away with more than a trophy tonight, I think. Lots of men," Nancy told Taylor. For a moment, there was only an awkward silence from Taylor, who simply glared at her interview before she said, "I'm not gonna walk home with any men tonight." She then added, "I'm gonna hang out with my friends and then I go home to the cats. Men get me into trouble." Taylor later spoke about the fascination surrounding her love life, telling Vogue, I went out on a normal amount of dates in my early 20s and I got absolutely slaughtered for it. And it took a lot of hard work and altering my decision making. I didn't date for 2.5 years. Should I have had to do that? No. Number 6, Samuel Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson was left in a state of disbelief when a KTLA entertainment anchor confused him with Lawrence Fishburne in 2014. During the interview, presenter Sam Rubin asked Samuel, who was appearing on the show from Atlanta, to discuss his new movie RoboCop after his recent Super Bowl commercial. Looking confused, Samuel responded, "What Super Bowl commercial?" and was met with a brief silence. The penny then dropped as the presenter realized that Lawrence had starred in a Super Bowl advert that year, not Samuel. The Snakes on a Plane star quickly picked up on the air and pointed his finger angrily as he stated, "You see, you're as crazy as the people on Twitter. I'm not Lawrence Fishburne." Sam chuckled uncomfortably, repeating, "That's my fault, I know that, my mistake," while holding his hands up in surrender. But Samuel continued his tirade as he scoffed, "We don't all look alike. We may all be black and famous, but we don't all look alike." He went on to note, "You're the entertainment reporter? You're the entertainment reporter for the station and you don't know the difference between me and Lawrence Fishburne? There must be a very short line for your job." He later lightened the mood slightly by joking about the various ads he, Lawrence, and even Morgan Freeman have starred in to clarify to the entertainment reporter just which black guy he was. One thing you don't want to do is mess up in front of Samuel Jackson, because he will obviously call you out, as he should. Number 5, Jeremy Strong. Succession star Jeremy baffled fans when he was quoted in The New Yorker saying he didn't see his hit show as a comedy, a revelation that baffled his peers. He was heavily mocked for the profile, which showcased his method acting tendencies, with the piece starting with a quote about his character Kendall Roy, "I take him as seriously as I take my own life." It also discussed his childhood acting idols, all of whom are notorious for going great lengths to portray their characters: Daniel Day-Lewis, Al Pacino, and Dustin Hoffman. His co-star Kieran Culkin and executive producer Adam McKay were quoted in the piece, with the latter saying, "He's not playing it like a comedy, he's playing it like he's Hamlet." The piece was widely mocked at the time, and Jeremy later said it was 15 minutes of shame with a long tail. "I haven't felt judged like that in a very long time." However, he was keen to iterate that he bears no ill will to his colleagues for their part in the piece or their comments critiquing his techniques. He said, "Everyone's entitled to have their feelings. I also think Brian Cox, for example, he's earned the right to say whatever the F he wants. There was no need to address that or do damage control. I feel a lot of love for my siblings and my father on the show. And it's like a family in the sense that I'm sure they would say this too. You don't always like the people that you love. I do always respect them." Reflecting on when he felt fully over the profile, he said, "If anything, I was worried. Could it have harmed how I feel about doing what I do? And that kind of haunted me for a while." Number 4, Brigitte Nielsen. Brigitte was so offended by Joan Rivers' line of questioning on her chat show that she stormed out not just once, twice. The pair were filming the Joan Rivers position in 2005 when things quickly took a turn and the conversation became frosty. An audience member said Joan was bitching about some of Bridget's former husbands and it didn't go down very well. It's hard to tell precisely what the row was about, but because Bridget started yelling in Italian. During the interview, an offended Bridget walked out twice, promoting Joan to brand her a word to the shocked audience. A viewer explained they are both renowned for being outspoken, but what was strange was the way the whole thing blew up and then blew over. By the end, they seemed to be back on good terms again. To be honest, they are both a couple of nutbags, but it was fabulous to watch. Number 3, Paris Hilton. Paris stormed out of a US TV interview in 2011 after she was asked if she was past her prime. The reality TV star took offense of the question and pulled the plug on the interview with Dan Harris of ABC News at her LA mansion. She first became agitated when the journalist suggested she had been eclipsed by her best friend turned rival Kim Kardashian. He asked, "Do you worry at times that people who have followed in your footsteps like Kim Kardashian are overshadowing you?" Through gritted teeth, she replied, "No, not at all." She became even more irritated when mentioned that her latest reality TV show, The World According to Paris, has struggled in the ratings. The journalist continued, "Do you worry about your moment having passed?" Spice, then 30 years old, glanced across at her publicist off camera before getting up from her chair and stormed out. She could be heard saying off camera, "I don't want all this being used." After a heated discussion between the reporter, Paris, and her publicist, she eventually returned to camera to deliver an apparently well-rehearsed answer. "I've been doing this for 15 years now, so it's been a long time, so just like any other business person or someone in the industry, it's always important to reinvent yourself and come up with new projects," she said. Number 2, Britney Spears. Britney Spears famously burst into tears during an emotional 2003 interview with Diane Sawyer, who grilled her about her split with JT. The American journalist asked the singer what she did to cause the split and confronted her with semi-naked pics of the singer that she had posed for, which many fans see now as sex shaming. Pushing the issue of the split, Diane said, "You broke his heart. You did something that caused him so much pain, so much suffering. What did you do?" Wow. Wow, Diane, for real. Diane also asked the pop star about a comment made by Maryland's First Lady in 2003, Kendall Ehrlich, who made some eyebrow-raising comments at an anti-domestic violence conference that year. She slammed the singer as a bad influence, as she said, "Really, if I had an opportunity to shoot Britney Spears, I think I would." The singer seemed shocked by the comment, which she said was horrible and really bad. Yet Diane seemingly defended the former prosecutor as she elaborated, "It's because of the example for kids and how hard it is to be a parent." Britney later claimed she was forced into giving the interview by her father and management, despite being in a vulnerable state at the time and not wanting to speak. The troubled pop star posted a lengthy note on her Instagram account where she called out the legendary broadcaster for making her cry and for conducting the chat with a "you're in the wrong" agenda. And number 1, Selena Gomez. A few years ago, Selena was so over the JB questions that when a TV reporter essentially asked her to explain Justin's behavior, she looked utterly shocked and amazed, shook her head slowly, and simply didn't answer. They actually had to cut the feed abruptly, ending the interview. That was so rude of the reporter, though. That is all for today. Let me know what you think about these out-of-pocket interview moments. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more news on your favorite celebrities. And I'll catch you next time on The Rich Life.